Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Angie.
And together we are TwinFinity.
We are twin flames in union, sharing our journey through a series of videos. This is now video number 28, called The Path to Union Part 2, The Masculine Awakens. And with that, why we are where we are has to do with the title of our video. We are both wearing kind of fluorescent yellowy orange colors, and we're doing a video early in the morning with the sunrise because it represents awakening.
The sky's a nice bright yellow. We're a nice bright yellow. I would say good morning. I think we're both still tired.
Yes, we are. If we look tired, it's because we are. We got up at 5, what time?
Yeah, about 5:15 is when the first alarm went off. It's now just before 7.
On a long weekend.
We are in a dog park. So if we get any interruptions, if all of a sudden a big St. Bernard comes running through the screen, it's only because we've taken this chance.
Yes.
Anyway, we are at a place called Edworthy Park. That's on the west side of Calgary. We've got our downtown in the background. And
birds chirping.
And maybe the occasional commercial jet flying overhead. Welcome to being near or / inside of the city. Also, if one of us happens to just tumble away, it's because we've got this all nicely staged. The computer's up on a level spot, and we are
on a hill.
We're on a hill.
Ourselves from falling.
We're on a nice slippery blanket that's on nice slippery grass, and we may have to readjust as we slowly sag down the hill. Bye. Oh, okay, I'll come back.
So one of our regular video watchers used the word geekery on our Facebook page a couple weeks ago or last week, whenever it was. And I loved the word. So I had to tell her, we're going to have more geekery in our next video. So this is what's called our geekery. We are crazy people that will get up at early hours of the morning just to do a video at sunrise in yellow shirts because we're weird people and we're very happy to be weird people. So welcome to our geekery.
Anyway, the recap?
With that said.
Okay. From our previous video, Angie shared how she remembered other lives during Reiki sessions. One being on another planet, and one being in ancient Egypt with me at a time when love was forbidden, and we got in trouble for being romantically inclined / involved.
Yes.
Angie learned from the Egyptian life that I had closed off spiritually due to the trauma of that life. So Angie was guided to do healing work with me in 5D to help release those old fears. Angie and I started communicating more in 3D and went on 2 mountain climbs together. One with my karmic partner and my group of friends, and one where there was just Angie and I and her karmic partner. Angie was also having a lot more telepathic communications with me in 5D, and even had 5D communication with my karmic partner. During that communication, my karmic partner handed me over to Angie as a baby wrapped up in white, saying that her time was now done and that it was time for Angie to continue on.
Yes. So, are we ready to go?
Let's give this a shot.
All right.
We'll just see if the sunlight doesn't darken us all out.
Yeah,
but
hopefully it doesn't. We may have to. Let's try.
We can't fix that.
We'll cut your head off a little bit. I don't know if that makes it better or worse. Just wanted to make a note before we start. I found it absolutely amazing how many people commented on our last video about having a life in Egypt. So many of you expressed that you also remember a life in Egypt. So very fascinating that a lot of us remember that. I don't know why. I've not done a lot of research on Egypt or the significance of it, but I found it very neat that a lot of you have. Also, just wanted to say a quick thank you. We've had a whole lot of new subscribers on our YouTube, so just wanted to say welcome. And a couple people even commented and noticed, we don't keep track of how many subscribers we, like the numbers, but 3 people commented, you have 555 subscribers. So congrats for all you that noticed that, and thanks for pointing it out, because we wouldn't have
we missed it.
Noticed. Yeah, that was so cool. So thank you for showing us that. And also just wanted to say, for those of you that have donated, thank you so much. We were not at all intending to put up a donation link, but we've actually had requests from people to do that. So for those of you that have donated, thank you. It's very much appreciated for our time and efforts that we put into all of this. Now, having said that, we'll finally get started. So this is continuing on. This is now in July of 2014. The reason we had to do all of this in two parts is because even though it was only 6 months of time that we were covering, so much was happening in 5D. In 3D, there was very little happening. Rob and I were literally just talking about license plates. There wasn't much conversation other than our 2 mountain climbs. But 5D was hugely intense.
Now, 5D was the stuff that Angie was noticing. In my 3D world, just on my side, there was tons of stuff going on. Excuse me. Morning throat.
Yes.
There was tons of stuff going on, but it was all very distracting stuff. I was still really reeling from a couple of trips to Europe that I'd taken visiting ancient lands. Oh yes, I forgot to mention.
A train, that's nice.
Freight trains coming through the river valley. That'll disappear in a bit. What was going on in 3D for me was I was doing lots and lots of thinking and wondering why I was so rocked by a couple of trips to Europe where I was visiting ancient lands. One especially where I felt like I had gone literally home. I had stopped for 3 days at a place that was known as the ancient city of Ephesus, today now known as Selçuk, in Turkey. And that place had just totally rocked me. So I was always thinking about that and wondering if I'd go back again, because I really wanted to go back almost immediately. The second thing is I was feeling very insecure about my relationship, my Karmic 2 relationship. That was coming into my mind, especially going into winter, when sometimes I don't do well in winter because I'm very much a summertime person. Also, my mom was very, very ill. She was terminally ill with cancer, and I was doing lots and lots of trips to visit my mom and dad, who live about a 3.5 hour drive away up in Edmonton. So I had all sorts of things, very, very busy, very sad, very nervous things going on. Although some of it very exciting too.
Yeah. So while he's having all of that going on in 3D life, I'm experiencing all this other stuff with him in a 5D experience. So I'm going to share some of that, what was going on. So again, this is starting in July of 2014. And in my journal, I said, in my desire to understand more of twin flames, I've been reading tons on the net about what happens next, since our past, from my old journals, fit perfectly with what the info says. Sunday in my meditation, Rob told me he was ready and awake. And I thought, yeah, right. But over and over, he kept saying he gets it now, is awake and ready to be with me. Now, of course, I'm not believing this because the 3D Rob, all we're talking about is license plates. So I'm not seeing any awake. I'm not seeing any spiritual awareness or anything like that. So I had a lot of doubts. But I wrote, the reading I've done says things happen on a soul level first, then on a human level. So I just took it that his soul is more awake now, but didn't believe that his human self was awake yet. Then last night in my meditation, he said he wanted to hug me and hold me and feel me. So we kissed. And I don't know if any of you have experienced this in like astral travel or anything like that. I certainly wasn't trying to make it happen, but amazing things were happening in 5D where I could feel him. We would kiss, we would hug, we would touch, and I could feel it. It was incredible. So then in my meditation, he kept saying that he just wanted to hold me and kiss me and never let me go, that he was ready to be with me. Now, what was really neat is after I experienced that kiss, the next day I was seeing all these license plates. Funny how, we've been talking about how Rob and I were now playing this license plate game. Driving to work, I saw 2 license plates. One was my kiss, which was just, yes. Once again, you can't make this stuff up. Yeah. The next one was actually his last name with only 1 letter difference. And I actually took a picture and texted that to him. That's in the printout of our text, which is just amazing. So yeah, I was getting incredible signs and validation that what I was experiencing was real, even though, my ego was still really struggling with, am I just crazy? And if you remember in our last video, we used the word crazy a lot. It's because I truly felt crazy. I honestly did, which I know a lot of you experience, because it's crazy to the ego, because this is so out of the ego's ability to comprehend. So then I was writing, the other day I kept getting 1111 or 111. Again, more craziness in the twin flame world. Clock, license plates, etc. That and the next day I read more of twin flames, and I guess it's common to see ones. So again, I was experiencing this before even reading it, which always was the case. I would get it and then get the validation that it was real, which was nice, because then it was at least easier to not just go, oh yeah, well I saw that because I already read it and I knew about it. I would always get the experience and then get the knowledge of it afterwards. So it was nice that it was validating. So then I said, yesterday I had a bad Rob day, missing him like crazy, especially after reading of our love and connection in my journals, and especially after seeing typical Rob on Sunday in the mountains. I had a confusing feeling of missing soul Rob and doubting because of human Rob. It was so confusing. So just to elaborate, a missing Rob day, a bad Rob day, and by the way, we're about to get greeted by a dog. So
hi.
Here we come. We're in the middle of doing a video, so just excuse us. No worries, no worries.
Buddy.
Perfect.
Welcome to nature. So a bad Rob day back then was when I would just miss him so much, to the point that the only way I knew how to cope was to drive and cry. I would put on songs. If you remember way back from our early videos, I think it was like video number 4, called The Fun Before the Fall, we had talked about Dan Fogelberg, and I would put those songs on. Oddly enough, there's one called Missing You, so appropriate. And I would put that on and I would just drive and cry. I didn't know what else to do to deal with the emotions. So I would just allow myself to cry.
Was it so appropriate or soul appropriate?
Oh, Rob and his puns. Good ones. Oh, boy. It's too early in the morning for Rob. So then I said, when I tune into him, he kept saying, I get it. I'm awake. I'm with you, and I'll never let you go again. I was skeptical, thinking it was just wishful thinking. So I telepathically asked him, tell me in a song, because of course I was already experiencing songs and validation through songs. So within not even 2 minutes, the song that came on hit me and caught my attention. It was called Boomerang by Bare Naked Ladies. New song that I don't even know that I've ever heard of before. All about, I'll come back to you like a boomerang. I pulled up the lyrics on the net, and wow, they really fit, so I printed them out. Need to read them further in detail. Oddly enough, because I'm just the kind of person that keeps everything, I actually just kept that in my journal. I don't know how well this will show up here, hopefully. We can't even really see the screen so well. But those are the lyrics. I even dated it up top. It was just amazing. So I'll just read a quick bit of it. It says, I'll come back to you, you will see that all you said got through to me, and I would like to be your boomerang. Incredible. So the song is all about, the communication that you've given me has worked, and I'm coming back to you, which totally validated what I was doing, because I was guided in 5D to have such communication with him. So it's like he was telling me, yes, I've heard you, I'm getting it, I'm coming back. Wow. And I know so many of you get songs too as validation, and trust them, they're real. We're not crazy, I promise you. So of course back then I was doubting, and I said, am I just reading too much into this? Not sure, so I just continue to go with the flow. All I know is I don't feel the need to send Rob more love and energy and wake-up calls like I was told to do in my appointment with my Reiki lady. I've been talking with him telepathically, and we've had more communication by text and person, just like my Reiki lady said. We now text nearly every day or several times a day, and I've seen him 2 weeks in a row for mountain climbs. So that was the mountain climbs we shared from our last video. So even though we weren't having a lot of anything spiritual in 3D, we were connecting more.
And during this time, Angie is doing so much work. She knows about TF, twin flame.
Yes.
I have no clue whatsoever.
Nothing.
So Angie at this point is growing and learning and growing and learning, and in comparison, I'm just kind of stuck right in the world I'm in. I'm just at my normal plodding pace. So she is rocketing way, way ahead in her understandings. I would soon have to do a ton of catch up.
Yeah, but your catch-up is very fast, as we're going to share in our next video. Very fast. So then July 6th of 2014, I said, well, on the same note of telepathic communication, I have more to share. Just since I last wrote, telepathically, Rob has started calling me, sorry, you're going to cringe, baby. Now, if you remember from just a couple videos ago, Rob was sharing how even his karmic partner's grandchild, he would call grand thing, because just the words child, baby, just kind of trigger Rob. So it was very funny that in 5D, he would call me baby, this word that is just like cringes in 3D. And it was such validation for me, because I knew that was what helped me believe that this was real. Because I knew that was just such an important word for him that it would make sense. So I started asking him for signs that this was really him that was actually calling me baby and not just my imagination. So I was driving home from the mountains, and I asked him by the time I got home to either see or hear the word baby. And he said he'd give it to me in a song. Of course, because we were communicating so much by songs, as I know a lot of you have experiences with too. So he said to me it would be a song. It wouldn't be the title of the song, but it would be the lyric in the song. So I anxiously waited for the next song on the radio. There it was. Baby said 3 times in the first song that came on, and then in the next song too. Wow, so cool. So it was becoming a fun game. I would do this. I would ask for validation from him and signs and songs, and I would get them every time. Incredible. He would even tell me, flip to this station, or do this, and it would always work. It was such validation for me. Totally incredible. See, did you know how powerful you really are?
Didn't have a clue.
You truly were awakening. Now this is a neat image that we shared in our question and answer video a long time ago. I think it was one of our first ones, about the car driving and how we're not really in control of the car. Totally forgot that I had this image in one of my meditations. I said I just finished meditating and asked in my meditation if there's anything I need to do to help Rob. I was shown a car with me in it, driving down the highway with a target and a bullseye at the end of the highway, and shown the car is locked on the road like it's preset track, that I can't deviate. So I was told that I'm on the right track towards the bullseye, and that while the track is twisting and winding and may feel like it's going away from the target, or taking the long route, then I'm just to trust that all is well and on track. Cool, I like the image. So again, just more validation, which again, back and forth I would go between my 3D mind and my 5D mind. I would trust, and then I would doubt, and then I would, oh, this doesn't make sense, and then I would just get more and more validation. But it took a while for me to really believe this was all true. As I'm sure you all understand, you get all these signs, and then you go, no, that can't be real. Your ego jumps back in and goes, no, that's not real. It's just me making it up. But if I can just encourage you, trust it. You're not crazy. It is real. It's so powerful. And that's where we're given all these signs, to help us know that we are on the right track. So I said, this is now July 7th of 2014. I said, well, it's been a nice break. I haven't heard from Rob in real world, 3D world, since Friday, and telepathically he's been much quieter yesterday and today, which is nice, as I just need some time to process and absorb. I find it fascinating that I've been told by his soul that I won't hear from him this week, but that it's okay. He needs the space and time away for his own growth. I've not been told what's up. So I was kind of wondering, maybe he was just going through a bunch of stuff with his mom because she was sick. And do you want to talk a bit about that as I slide down the hill?
You know, I've only slid myself back up the hill about 4 times here.
Well, I have to do that because I'm falling. So excuse me. Did you talk a bit about your mom yet? I forget.
I had mentioned that she had been sick, and she was getting significantly sicker. She was to the point where even helping cooking meals was getting to be a little bit of a struggle for her. And she was becoming very, very preoccupied with death. She wasn't looking beyond another 3 to 4 months ahead. Not for my dad, not for anybody else. She was becoming very, very self-absorbed. Not in a what I'd call a whining or an unhealthy way, but I could also see that she was starting to become more afraid. Like, there is, no matter how much you try to prepare, most people go through a fear of the unknown.
So when he was telling me he was going to be quiet telepathically, I was thinking it had to do with his mom being sick and that he was just going to be busy and distracted with her. So I didn't really know what was up. Then, a couple days later, I get an answer from him as to why he's been quiet. So fascinating. He says, I said, strange, in my last meditation last night, Rob told me he was with the beings on my planet and they were helping him awaken and were changing his DNA. He said he felt like he was kind of in a fog, far away almost, and that he was getting awakened to our mission. Then this afternoon, I get a text from him asking if I'm available for dinner, his birthday dinner tomorrow night, 1 month less a day from when we met 17 years ago. Interesting. So, first of all, interesting that I get information from why he's quiet. I mean, really? To be told that he's with my planet people and they're helping him awaken?
I'm sure that was challenging.
Well, we find out later. I get more information about that, and yes, I was told it was challenging. Funny enough. But why I so wanted to read that part is because I know a lot of you go through points of having so little hope, going, I'm seeing nothing from my twin on a 3D level. Like, really, is this ever going to happen? This person's never going to get it. Hey, I completely went through that. I mean, do you think I was believing any of this when all I'm seeing in 3D is we're communicating about, I got this license plate number and I got that license plate number. That was it. There was no more conversations about the word love like we shared in a couple videos ago. There was nothing kind of happening. So I had complete doubts. But this is what happens. Things happen first on a 5D level and their DNA does get changed. They do get awakened. It's real.
Also, I'd like to comment that with all that was going on around me from the 2 trips and also watching what my mom was going through, I could feel within me that I was growing more spiritually at a little bit of a faster rate than what I normally was. I was actually feeling like I'd got past a little bit of a plateau. Now, for me to, in my growth, my normal style of growth, it's not like huge leaps and bounds. It was just an increase in the steady pace that I was having better understandings, deeper understandings, feeling better about things. Of course, I had no idea where this was all headed to and what I was being prepared for.
No kidding.
I was just enjoying deeper connections. It was feeling interesting to me. It was feeling good.
Yeah. So then I said, I was surprised to have a text from him this morning at 6:30. And this is what you wrote to me.
Oh, do I get to read that?
And this was July 25th of 2014.
Why does July 25th keep on coming up? This actually caught me off guard here today. I was just reading the journal and she was reading the journal. I'm going, wait a minute, that was July 25th?
So this was 17 years exactly from the day that we had met, that he texted me.
I said, thank you very much for supper last night. Had a blast talking and be sure that the knowledge that you are one of the very few people in the world who get to talk about my deepest and darkest memories. I had discussed many things during that supper, times where infidelity had been a strong part of my life. I had literally bared my deepest, darkest secrets of my life to Angie.
Yeah.
I said, hope to chat again soon. And stuck at 718 still. Yes, I still had to include a license plate game note.
Yeah, because, we can't get too intimate. We've got to keep it platonic with license plates. So, yeah, that kind of gave me a little bit of hope that, okay, there's some progress. It's not just about license plates. So then, what else did I want to say here? So then I replied to him and shared about, it being 17 years exactly from the day we met. I thought it was appropriate to remind him of that. And of course, he didn't reply to that at all. I was very disappointed to get no reply. And I said, he usually goes quiet after I share of anything other than license plates. Doesn't give me a lot of hope for us or belief in the whole twin flame thing, but one day at a time, I guess.
Also, just trying to keep a perspective here that I am not looking for getting back together or anything.
No.
I'm looking to try to step forward from that terrible feeling of the past when we broke up and just trying to start what I would call a new friendship. So to bring up old times was probably a lot too connected to old times for me.
Yeah.
I was looking to start something new.
Yeah, you weren't wanting to go there. So I said, some days I just want to give up totally on all of this twin flame stuff and just accept that life we have is it. Does that sound familiar? I know how many of you just want to say, screw all of this, forget it, let me just move on with my life. And as you know from trying that, good luck. You can try all you want. Your ego can try and pull you off this path all you want, but the soul's going to keep bringing you back.
Well, that was also the vibe she was getting from me, as per what I just mentioned.
Yep. One of the things that started helping me to believe more, as you know on this path, there's always something that we get to help us, was Patricia McNeely. She is still making videos. I started watching her way back in 2014. 4 years later, she's still on YouTube, still making videos, and God bless her. She helped my journey so much. I never did work with her. We've never worked with anybody in terms of twin flame coaches or anything like that. But I did watch her videos, and my God, they helped. Again, if you remember from last video, I talked about being crazy and feeling crazy and using the word crazy so much. Patricia McNeely, if you've ever watched her stuff, often she says, "You are not crazy." And that was so helpful for me. I so needed that. So anyways, I'm sharing now what I would do with her videos is I would watch them twice. First time I would just watch them. Second time I would watch them and then take notes in my journal. Because I learn best that way, I just take notes. So I'll even show you. I've got, if it'll kind of work out in the sun, I don't know. There's some Patricia McNeely notes. And I have tons of them in my journal from her. So, she was saying things like, "You're merging, it's time." And if you remember way back at the beginning of our story, from my angels would use the word merge and tell me how important that word was. Well, here it is coming up all these years later. And she's saying, "You've waited 11,000 years to merge. You have support from the guides and angels. Be the love. Patience is required for timing. Don't force things." Just all sorts of things that she was sharing. Then I was getting more validation from my Reiki lady. I would go see her again on August 30th. I saw her. And she said that my energy was very different from the last time she saw me, that it was big and expansive. And I told her all the work that I've been doing, and she said, "It's working." So that was helpful validation, to know that I was actually doing something, because I wasn't seeing it externally. So she said doors were opening for me. And she said she sees lots of travel in my future. And I said, yes, me too. We were just seeing so many things. She said, Rob is scared and feels guilty because I'm in a relationship. Well, I wasn't really in a relationship, but he didn't know that, because we hadn't talked about that at all.
No, it looked like a relationship to me.
Yeah.
Notwithstanding where I was.
Yes. So that night I talked with him telepathically and told him it's our time, that he doesn't need to feel guilty. Our partners have their own path to take. Then this morning, telepathically, Rob was asking me to go meditate because he had some stuff he wanted to say. So I did, and he says, "I'm ready now. I've gotten it. We have so much work to do together, and I'm ready." Can you imagine how confusing that was for me? There was a part of me that was so excited to hear that, and the part of me that was just like, whatever, this is just crazy stuff that I'm making up. And then he also said telepathically that he can't wait to hold me in his arms and never let me go. Aww, it's nice. My people from my planet told me in my appointment with my Reiki lady that I would soon reap the rewards of all my hard work. Those words really connected with me, because Rob keeps saying that in the fall, things will start happening outwardly, that my angel said everything is falling into place. And Patricia's video was talking about the harvest and reaping rewards. So I was getting this from 3 different sources: Patricia McNeely's videos, my Reiki appointment, and from Rob telepathically. So it was all coming together, but I was still, of course, doubting it. Then Patricia, I wrote in here about Patricia having a video called Harvesting from Your Long Labor. So even that validated what I was getting. Then I even had this weird, amazing, not dream. Again, I was starting to just learn the difference between a dream and astral travel, where I was experiencing Syrians. I didn't even know. I had nothing, no knowledge about Syrians. I had to go look this up afterwards. So I wrote this. I'll just actually show you this because I was half awake, half asleep when I got this, and I just quickly scribbled down notes and kept them in my journal. I don't even know if you can read it because I can barely read it.
Sometimes you need to keep a notepad at your bedside table.
And I do. I'll often write in the middle of the night.
Yeah, even if you're writing in the darkness.
Yeah. Probably be like, what are you doing? I'm like, I got to write this down. It just came to me. So what I wrote is the Syrians were in the 5th dimension, and if I even have this right, the Aryans were in the 4th dimension, and the Syrians were helping pull them to the 5th dimension. And the energy is where I could see that I'm from a different planet because of the dimensions. So
I'm glad she can read that.
Yeah, I don't know how I can read that.
I can see a few words.
So again, in one of my Reiki appointments, I got more validation about that too, which helped me understand that what I was getting was real. Just amazing things were happening. Then I said, hang on, did I miss a piece? Nothing too important. This morning in my meditation, I saw Rob and I fully merged. Cool. Patricia in her video yesterday said our twin is being returned to us by their partner because it's time. If you remember in our last video how I was sharing how Rob's partner handed him over to me. So again, it happened first for me and then I got validation from Patricia's video. It always happened that way, that I experienced it and then got validation. So I said, wow, it's all connecting from my meditations to the videos to what I'm getting from my Reiki appointments. Patricia's video also talks about twins as angelic beings. And again, in my Reiki appointment, my Reiki lady was talking about how connected I am with the angels and that she could feel them all around me. So again, more validation. Then Patricia, I just have some more notes here from her video, and it says, you and your twin have the keys to each other. Your twin is being restored at another level to be ready in the physical. Again, just exactly what I was being told, that Rob was with my planet beings and they were helping change his DNA to awaken him. And another thing from one of her videos was, you have assistance from the angels. You have teams of angels helping you. Your soul is on schedule, even though it might not fit in your schedule. I like that. So then in another one of Patricia's videos, it was called Up and Over the Threshold. And these are still on the internet. If you want to go check these out, it's amazing. They're still there. This was September 8th, 14, this video. And one of the things she says is, you've been ready and waiting, saying how this is going to happen, and I'm going to need a miracle. She said, the miracles are going to start happening. And let me tell you, they did. Holy crap, did they start happening. All of your timelines are collapsing. The past has been unplugged so you can create with old patterns, creating with less effort now. And then again in Patricia's video, she was saying doors are going to close and doors are going to open. Same thing I got from my Reiki appointment. So it was just validation after validation of all these things that were happening. Now, am I saying that in order to get to union, you have to follow Patricia McNeely? Not at all. I'm just saying she was part of my path. We all have the people that we're drawn to, so go with what resonates with you. I'm just sharing this because it's just incredible how the validations that we get on whatever signs we get, and why I'm sharing this is to help you believe that what you're getting really is real. You're not making it up and you're not crazy. I'm going to be the new Patricia McNeely and go, you're not crazy! So again, another video she had was called Doors Are Opening. And she said, you're really connecting to the angels. Everything is white and sparkling. Oh, sorry, this isn't Patricia. This was an appointment with my Reiki lady. She said, today you're a different person, not like the first time I met you. You carry more energy and your aura is really, really big and amazing. You're getting more spiritual, more high level. The color is purplish. So I was also being awakened on a deeper level that I wasn't aware of. And again, this is what happens. You know, we think, how is this ever going to happen? How am I ever going to get to union? Well, it happens on DNA levels that we're not even consciously aware of. Our DNA is being changed and we are being awakened. So you don't need to worry about how is this ever going to happen. It's happening. It really is. Did you want to say something? I feel you.
Yeah. I've got things that I do want to say. It doesn't seem to matter whether or not a person is just reaching out of 3D for the first or second time, or whether they're highly evolved and spend lots of time in 5D. There always seems to be a little bit of a check and balance back and forth between ego saying, well, wait a minute, is this all real? Versus the other side saying, step forward. I don't consider these balances, these checks and balances, to be unhealthy at all. But part of ego is fear. And whether you grow in a direction that you want to grow, for example, with all the awareness in Twin Flames about trying to get to union, I would say accept growth in whatever angle it comes to you. Whether it's growth that just causes you to grow internally as an individual, or whether it is truly towards union. Don't be afraid to step forward. Learn what you need to learn. We'll let destiny decide whether or not those learnings take you in a direction that you were expecting, or someplace that may even be better.
Yes. So from my last Reiki appointment with my Reiki lady, I was also being guided to do some 5D work with my karmic partner. Still, we were not sleeping in the same bed on the same floor of the house. We were amicable, but we had not had any sort of okay, we're done. We were just in this weird phase of being roommates, still doing, eating dinner together, but not having any intimacy at all. So I was being guided to work with him on 5D and let him know that it was time for us to release each other and move on. So I said, I talked with him telepathically and kept telling him that we're done. Finally, I fell asleep at 4-ish in the morning, and 4-ish in the morning, I think. But I was jolted awake at 5:07, I like how I wrote exact time, by his voice saying goodbye. It was so loud, like he was right there, but no one was there. Then Sunday morning in my meditation, Rob said, you're mine, and I'm not letting you go now. Interesting. Then that morning, for the first time, I heard the song by Doc Walker, that's a country artist, all about you're mine and I'm yours. Wow. And this song then started coming, and I would hear it over and over and over, and it was all about you're mine, I'm yours, and we're together, and incredible, more incredible validation. Then just now as I meditate, I tuned into Rob, and I see our energy so strongly together like a magnet that I can't pull apart. And I hear him say, I'll never let you go. You said that to me a lot telepathically. And then it comes in a song later too, a Dallas Smith song. So most of my songs that I got were country. I listened to all sorts of music, but most of the songs he would give me were country. It was funny. So I said, it's interesting. Something I've just noticed in my meditation is how much Rob's energy has changed. He feels like he's my equal now and at the same vibrational level. Before, I felt like I was sending him energy to help raise his vibration. Now I feel like we are at the same level. In fact, at times, he sends me energy and gives me hope and help. This morning, he just told me very, very soon that he'll be holding me in his arms and how excited he is. Then I saw an image of a baby soother and thought, what the hell is that? Why am I seeing that? We're not having kids. Then Rob told me, okay, are you ready? You can cringe now. Go ahead.
Cringing. I'm already cringing over the thought of a baby soother. Why would I project that to you? Why would I do that?
Okay, get ready. By the way, just a quick aside. We went Climbed a mountain the other day with one of the ladies that watches our videos. She drives between provinces and happened to be in the city, so we went with her. And she said, it is so obvious in your videos that you don't read this stuff ahead of, like, Rob does not know what you're going to read. And I'm like,
Nope.
no, he doesn't.
Not a clue.
This is proof. All right, are you ready? Rob told me he was helping soothe me and pacify me to keep me calm enough to get through this last stretch until we're together.
Okay, I'm starting to get as cheesy now as her angels.
Totally. I mean, I would not. My mind would not have ever thought of that. So I completely knew. I didn't make that one up. So I was just really starting to get validation that this whole baby thing that he was calling me was real. So I thought, how clever. But then asked, why a soother since he doesn't like babies?
How about our starting of our new relationship was in its infancy?
Oh, that's good. It was. And
Oh.
see, you were handed to me as a baby, and we're going to see in a minute, my partner did the same thing. But we'll get to that. So, where was I? I asked why a soother since he doesn't like babies, and he said, because you're my baby, his nickname for me. Ah, very clever, I wrote. Now, let's just be clear, he does not call me that now.
Nope,
It's really, absolutely not.
Thanks for saying that for me.
Yeah, no, Rob can't even say baby finger without going, "Ugh!" It's really funny. So I said, well, thank you for calming and soothing me because I feel like I'm going to jump out of my skin with excitement and impatience, etc., as I wait for change. The changes feel so big and so exciting that I sit and wait. Feels painful. The energy of change is so very strong. Oh boy, was it ever. All right, so neat. In my meditation, I see Rob and I so joined, our chakras connected and our auras so joined and huge. I see us together in the house that I'm in now. So again, the house that we now live in. So for the second time now, I've walked both of us through the house and yard, spreading our love and energy throughout, in each room, grounding ourselves and our energy so deep within the strong roots, all the way into the earth. To one, hold the house for us, and two, put our energy into it, not just mine. I keep seeing Rob living here with me, and I would get like flashes. I'd be at my bathroom sink brushing my teeth, and I would just look over and see him there, and then of course he'd just be gone. I'd go in the garage to get my car out, and I would see his vehicle there. I'd be in the kitchen cooking and see him there. Like I would just get flashes of him all over the place. And I was actually being guided by my Reiki lady to put our energy in the house. She said it was very important that we stay in this house because there was a portal there that was very significant for us. I didn't even know how Rob would feel about living in a house that I had lived in with somebody else. And I certainly didn't even believe at this point necessarily that this was all real and going to happen. But I was being guided to put our energy through the house. So whatever I was told to do, I did. I just did all sorts of work. For 6 months, I just pounded energy through him, through us, through the house, everything. So then more incredible validation. I'm so grateful that I kept all of this stuff. It was actually my karmic partner that gave me this because it was a neat thing called Doors Open YYC. YYC is Calgary. It stands for Calgary. And it was all about different things that you could do in the city for free that you could experience. So my partner had given me this. I'll just show you. Oh, sure, the wind's going to take it. You can see that. I don't know if it'll show up or not because I can't really see the screen. But it just says, Doors Open YYC. So again, more validation that doors were opening, which I was being told. And I said, well, it was interesting in my meditation. I was with my planet beings, and they were encouraging me to keep going, saying, it's happening. I'm almost there. Then they did a healing on me with crystals that they put in me to upgrade my DNA and also Rob. After the new DNA was in us, we had more superpowers, as my friend Marie calls them. We were flying through the universe together, and we were more connected to each other. Then I went to see the lady at my nursing home. At this point, I was helping with a lady that was living in a nursing home, just taking care of her every couple days. And she whispered over to me, I have something to tell you. I said, okay, what's that? And she says, things are happening. And I was blown away. Here in my meditation just hours earlier, I was told it's happening. And then she tells me things are happening. Again, like, can you really, I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. She had no clue what was going on in my life. I wasn't sharing any of this with her. I'm falling down the hill again.
Yeah.
Like really falling down the hill. Okay. Then yesterday I woke with Rob's energy all over me, more full, more present, bouncy, energetic, exciting, saying, you're mine, I'm yours, I'm yours. It felt good to hear from him and to feel him because I'd not heard anything from him telepathically since Friday, when he was showing me a soother to calm me. A whole week of not hearing from him telepathically. Odd. So again, I was starting to believe the telepathic stuff because I couldn't force it to happen. I couldn't just will it to happen. It happened when it happened and not on my time. Then another Patricia McNeely video with more confirmation of things. This was September 23rd of 14, and it was called Autumn Equinox, New Moon Transit. So she said in her video, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. Yes, I was being told that because my planet people were helping me with DNA, they were helping you with DNA, they were helping awaken us both. And again, she says, you're not crazy. Thank you, Patricia. I love you. And she was saying, we are in divine timing. Not everything is going to be revealed because the universe wants to surprise us. Oh, and did they ever. We were both surprised.
It really does seem to me that it doesn't matter how spiritually confident a person can be. I live with spiritual confidence. And I hear from this that even with all that you do understand, and sometimes all the messages that you get, you can never have enough reinforcement.
I needed it, as I know a lot of us do, because you do feel crazy. It's not easy to think that this is all real, because there's so many weird things that happen that your ego is just like, no, this can't be real. So it takes a lot of work to stay out of ego and to stay grounded in the 5D and trust that it's all real. So all of these synchronicities that I were getting were very helpful. And that's why I'm sharing Patricia McNeely's stuff. I'm not sharing to push her stuff, because I'm not saying you have to watch her to get to union or that you have to do anything specific to get to union. Everybody's path is their own path. I'm simply sharing because it was such validation for me and my experience. You know, she was even saying things like, this is not a cosmic joke. Well, I was glad to hear that, and she says that still very often. It was nice validation because it did feel like a joke. When you're experiencing all this stuff in 5D and getting nothing in 3D, you're thinking, is this just a goofy joke? So she said, you're here to be together and timelines are accelerating. You're here to get support from the universe. You're not here to have a nervous breakdown, and if you feel that way, get out into nature. Oh, Patricia, she's so awesome. You're at the tail end of this, and call on your stamina, call on your endurance, and pace yourself. Just such great messages I was getting. She even said, for some of you, the only thing that you're hanging your hat on is your belief in love. You're saying, I don't know how this is going to happen. Yeah, that was me. I was constantly feeling that. Ugh. It's like fall down the hill again. Then I had, this is September 30th, I said, I had a neat dream last night. I was helping set up for an event, a big event, and I asked what it was, and I was told this is your graduation. So I asked, why am I helping set up for my own grad? And I was told because I want to know all the behind-the-scenes stuff. So true. That's so my personality. So I found out it was actually a graduation for Twin Flames because we made it. We all did it. And I wrote, holy shit, so cool. So I just wanted to share that to give you encouragement that we are graduating, we are moving forward. Then in my meditation, when I tune into Rob, we're no longer separate. We are now one big ball of light and of love. It's neat. I couldn't feel or see us as individuals. It was a whole new energy, not Rob or Angie, but Rob and Angie together. And it's so huge and expansive and flowing and bright and cool. So I put our combined energy all through the house again, and also saw how it flows when we are out walking together. The love energy trails behind, lingering in the paths as we walk, leaving a trail of love that spreads to others to penetrate and change their cellular level and DNA. Now it's interesting, for those of you that watch and follow Alison Co, she just shared a video about this where one of her clients was a twin flame and said this was their mission, this was their job, was just to spread love. And that's what we're all doing. That's exactly what we're doing. So it was neat that I was actually seeing that. Just a few other things to share here. Let me see. I woke at around 1 in the morning last night and couldn't sleep, so I lied there and talked with Regan's soul some more and sent him love. All of a sudden, I saw him do what Rob's partner did for me. He handed me to Rob. I'm falling. At the same place, the city dog and cat shelter, which I still don't get. I kind of get it now. It's because we were adopting each other. In the same way, he handed me to Rob as a baby, all wrapped in white. The only difference was Rob's partner was willingly handing him over and saying he'd done the best he could with him. Regan handed me over a bit regretfully to Rob because he knew it was time, but more knowing and feeling that he hadn't done the best with me that he wished he had done. I didn't pick up on how Rob was feeling or responding at all. It was more about what Regan was feeling and how he was remorseful. What I find interesting is both of our partners handed us over as babies. Here comes the baby stuff again. Wrapped in white. To me, that symbolizes us as a fresh, new start and purity. Just incredible how all of this came together. Again, I couldn't make this up if I tried. It's also like our partners have helped prepare us for each other. Again, this is why I talk so positively about karmic partners, because that's exactly what they do. They're helping us prepare each other. They've helped clear the karma to make us new and whole and clean for a new start with each other. Wow, very cool. Just a bit ago, I was standing at the front window and looking at the beautiful sunset, and I could feel Rob with his arms around me, just like he used to do when we'd stand out on his balcony. So now I was actually feeling him. I could feel as if he was really with me. And then I was just saying I could feel like major changes were coming, and we're going to share in our next story how the changes really started to come. So I think that's about it for this time. I was just kind of going back and forth between feeling crazy, feeling all the validation that I was getting, but having a hard time believing it. So it was challenging. But next video is really where the changes that I was feeling start happening for real.
I also hear, though, that as much as you're looking for lots of validation, you're accepting the validation.
Yes.
So it isn't like you're stuck, but you're reaching forward. But it's kind of like reaching forward into the darkness. You're not sure whether or not it's going to be safe and trustable or not. But it is. It's very interesting to listen to how you kept reaching and kept accepting and would take small steps. Not the other word. Small steps forward.
You're funny. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. So when you get those signs, I encourage you to trust them because they are real. You truly aren't crazy. This path will challenge us, but it's challenging us to believe in ourselves, to believe in the stuff we're getting within, which again goes back to the go within, because that's where your answers are. So am I saying that your journey to union has to be about following Patricia McNeely or following anybody else's videos? No, your path to union has to do with following your own inner guidance, your own inner intuition. That's what we all have to do because our journeys are all different. So I encourage you to just go with your own guidance and know that you're on the right path. This is real. And on that note, unless you have something else to say?
I have nothing else to say other than thank you for enjoying our city. We've always wanted to show you our downtown. We consider it to be beautiful. It might not have 90-story buildings in it, but we quite enjoy it.
Yes, and we hope you can even see it because we can't
Oh.
really see the screen well at all. So hopefully it turns out. We don't even know.
They can see it.
Okay.
We got that one right.
Okay, that's good.
All right.
So as always, to connect with your twin, go within, just like our story shares. That's where your connection is. And we will connect in another week or so. We love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.